busy and hot summer on the island of Sodor. Despite the heat, however, the engines were trying to do their best to keep the railway running. They were doing all sorts of jobs. Some were shunting, some were pulling fully loaded freight trains, and some were pulling passenger trains, mostly filled with tourists. But every engine had something in common. They were all tired by the end of the day. One evening, Thomas was backing into Ted's sheds. He was very tired. "All this work and he will make my wheels melt," Thomas complained. "It isn't fair. We have too many jobs." "And you know what?" Thomas continued.
"What?"
Gordon huffed. "This heat is making the rails bumpy too." "Then be careful not going off the rails like you did before," teased James. Gordon laughed.
"I wouldn't be surprised. After all, you are a careless little engine."
Thomas, feeling offended, just let off steam and rolled further back into his shed, falling asleep at once. The next morning was hotter than before. Regardless, this meant it was very easy starting up the engines as their fires would build up easily. Once the engines were out, everything was going like clockwork. Percy was resting in the sheds after delivering the mail. Edward was working on his branch line. Henry was pulling tons of freight trains. Rebecca was pulling a passenger train. Gordon was pulling the express. And Thomas was pulling Annie and Clarabelle on his branch line. Everything went smoothly when Thomas noticed something up ahead. Whoa! Whoa! Thomas's driver and fireman applied the brakes just in time. A few inches ahead of Thomas were some rails that were bent off from this hot summer heat. "Well, bust my boiler!" exclaimed Thomas. "A second or more and I would have gone off the rails. I was right about the rails getting hot." "There are some points behind us," called out his driver. "We could use those to get around and continue on." They backed away and continued on, leaving Thomas concerned. When he finished, he had to take some goods to Cronk. On his way there, he met many engines like James, Edward, Henry, Rebecca, Leah, and Duck. He warned them about his incident, but was now worried as the only engine he hadn't been able to warn yet was Gordon. If Gordon is pulling the express, Thomas thought, he may not notice any bent rails in time. Meanwhile, Gordon was enjoying his express run.
"Express coming through!"
he exclaimed. But unfortunate events laid ahead of Gordon. The excessive heat made the rails expand and bend, and Gordon was heading straight towards it at high speed.
"Nothing can go wrong in a splendid day." "What the? Stop!"
His driver and fireman tried to stop him, but it was far too late. Luckily, no one was hurt, but Gordon had derailed and the express was now going nowhere.
Oh, the indignity.
Not too long after, Thomas arrived to see the accident. He couldn't help but chuckle. "Oh dear, Gordon. Feeling a bit careless, are we?"
"Can you please spare me the jokes and get some help?"
Gordon huffed. "Sure thing, Gordon," replied Thomas, puffing away with some slight satisfaction. He quickly delivered his trucks and went to collect the breakdown train. The Fat Controller was also informed about the accident and sent Henry to pull the express. When Gordon was put back on the tracks, Thomas buffered up to him and pushed him to the steamworks to be checked. Gordon was miserable. "Never mind, Gordon," said Thomas. "It wasn't your fault." Gordon said nothing, feeling embarrassed. Thomas brought Gordon to the steamworks and went away. That evening, Gordon had been fully checked and came to Tidbit's sheds. As all the engines were asleep, Gordon then looked at Thomas and spoke to him.
"Thomas, sorry I teased you."
Thomas just smiled. "It's all right, Gordon. We all get a little careless sometimes. We just gotta make sure we're careful so we can remain useful. Gordon chuckled and agreed before they both went to sleep. Alright, I hope that works for you.